Hello everyone and welcome to day 3. It's Wednesday and we have Megan here.
Hello.
And what are you going to teach us today, Megan?
We're going to be making this string of pearls today. Leah and I were just talking, and it's actually one of our most used plants for staging, photography as a prop.
Yes, so if you go through our site, you could do a spot the string of pearls game.
You'll see it a lot.
Yes, you will. So I love this because it's so delicate and so, I don't know, I'm going to call it precious in a way. And yet it's quite easy to make.
Yeah, I mean, this one plant has lasted us since 2017.
Was it 17?
18? It's a fairly old plant.
I don't think it was. I think because I remember photographing it in the house that I was remodeling.
Okay.
At that time, so that would have been 2020. But nonetheless, we've used it a lot.
Anyways.
It's been kicked around, not kicked around literally, but it's been a lot of places, and it just looks beautiful. And I can't imagine anyone not really loving this plant. So we thought it would be a great gift, and it's a great little 30-minute project that you can make. So there we go.
Yeah, let's get going. Let's talk about all of the tools and materials you'll need. It's not very many, which is great.
It looks like more than it is.
It does. It's mostly tools. So first you're going to need the bind wire in green. You could really use whatever color bind wire you have, though, because we are going to be painting it. And then second, you're going to need 8mm balls. And also 6mm balls.
Right, and we were talking this morning that you could make a full plant with just one bag of 8mm and one bag of 6mm, because there would be 100 in each bag. So that actually would probably do 2 plants.
Yeah, it just depends how many strings you want on each plant, because you'll want about between 15 to 30 balls on each string.
So depending on how many strings. Okay.
Let's see, and then for paint, we have avocado green and foliage green, and we're just going to be kind of mixing them together.
So I encourage use the paint you have on hand.
Yes, just a nice, a darker green and then a lighter green would be great. For tools, you're going to need your needle nose tweezers or some sort of tool to poke holes in the balls, a paintbrush. And then you'll need scissors, whichever size you have is fine, just to trim off any of the fluff that may come out of the balls.
Sure.
There's no like cutting paper or anything here. And then needle nose, or the pliers, tweezers. And
wire cutters,
Wire cutters. Let's see, a paint palette, something to put your paint on. And then I'm using the 18 gauge wire just to attach the bind wire to, so it's a little sturdier to stab into your pot, into the foam in your pot.
Yeah, and then over there I see a really cool tool that you created. And I almost broke it this morning.
She almost broke it in half. And I was like, wait.
Yeah, so this is what we like to do to dry things that we're painting. You can, right now you have like a, I don't know, a little goalie post here.
I just have 2 of the thick stem wires on either end, and I'm actually just going to string these string of pearls between them so that painting is super fast. And we'll show you exactly how to do that.
And one last thing before we get started. Emily is over here watching any questions that come in, so please ask your questions in the comments box or in the question box. Emily, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, I'm over here, and feel free. I'm watching the chat. We'll call out things as we go. I'm excited for you guys to make this. This was my suggestion because I love this plant.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah. And, you know, when we were looking at gift ideas that are things that people will love all year round, we were saying we definitely have to make paper plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can, sit as decor, and they don't die. You don't have to take care of them.
Yeah. And you can put them anywhere.
Yes.
So, okay, let's get going.
So first we're going to start with our balls. So you're going to want, I'd say 3/4 of your balls to be the 8mm size, and then the rest can be the 6mm.
Okay. And then
So you're going to want to take a ball and use your tweezers to there should be a hole on one end, and just go ahead and press that hole all the way through, kind of at a diagonal.
Because you don't want it to go straight through, because the balls want to kind of hang in different directions. So I'm just taking like a little piece here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And you can see the angle that I'm going at.
Yeah, you're almost going through the edge of the ball.
Right.
Not through the center.
And, you know, I was helping string some of these. What I noted, what worked really well for me is I'll go through the hole first and out, then I'll flip it around and go the other direction to really open that hole up on both sides. And I just kind of twist it in there. And then sometimes I might even take my tweezers closed and do a final pass so that I have a really nice opening that's easy to slide through the wire.
Yeah.
And then if any guts come out, any little bugs.
That's why you need some scissors, is just to trim.
It doesn't happen a lot, but if something comes out, you don't want to stuff it back in because it will get in the way. So you just go ahead and cut it off. That's pretty easy. And I say, you know, the better the hole, the easier it's going to be. So spend some time on your holes.
Yep. And you can use an awl for this as well, or something like that. I know Megan accidentally got herself with those needle nose tweezers.
I did. They're very pointy.
Yeah, be careful.
Yes, we were joking around. Megan's like, "Yeah, you could just sit here and watch TV." And I'm like, "No, you are not going to watch TV while you're doing this. Keep your eyes on."
Yeah, what you're doing. Otherwise you'll end up with some holes in your finger.
Right. And these are so sharp too. So, yeah. But this is pretty easy. I mean, once you get going and get a rhythm to it, you'll have a pile before you know it.
Yep. And then once you have a good pile, you can go ahead and take a length of this bind wire. And you're going to want it much longer than you need. But I would say maybe 2 feet. Is a good place to start.
Or even 18 inches.
Or 18 inches is good.
Yeah.
We'll do 18 inches.
Okay.
Go ahead and trim it off. And just make sure the paper on the end is kind of twisted pretty tightly around the wire underneath so that it doesn't come away.
You could add some glue to it if you feel like it, or a piece of tape or something to keep it secure.
And then you're going to go ahead and starting with your larger balls, and just string them on.
Just string the pearls, right? Yeah. So I noticed when I was looking at what you were doing, you would do large, 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 small, large, large.
I'll throw a small one in there every once in a while just to have some variation.
And then once you get towards the end, it's all small, small, small.
Yeah.
Small. Yeah. And there's no right or wrong. It's all very random.
There's not. And then sometimes the paper is gonna come off, and when that happens, I just take my pliers and cut them.
She does that, and then I'll take my tweezers and kind of add a bigger hole to make it easier.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's that time of year.
It is.
Time to drink lots of tea. So this is fun, and you're just kind of pushing them onto the wire. There's no spacing at this point. You're just getting them on. Yep. You want me to do that?
Maybe. I might need to step out for a second.
Okay. You can do that. Whatever you need.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So what we were finding is we're putting about 20 to 30 on each wire. If you wanted a few shorter ones, you could go as low as 15 if you needed. And, whoops.
I think you could vary these sizes quite a lot.
You could. And, you know, I'll notice, okay, this hole's not quite big enough for me. I'll go back in, and I think it makes it much easier if you just really work your holes rather than trying to force it through the wire.
Did you put tape on the end of your
This one, no. I did when we were working on these ahead of time before filming today. I did make one with tape, but again, I just feel like it works better to prepare your holes. It's less frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
I suggested this one because I personally cannot keep a string of pearls alive for the life of me. So it's nice to have a paper one.
See how this hole just was not big enough, so it's pulling the paper away, even though I tried. So I just went ahead and clipped it off again, and that's why we want it longer so that we have any excess.
Do you want me to grab you some tape?
Nope, I mean, we could try, but I don't really need it. I'll just make this. I'm going to keep resizing your holes for you.
Okay.
All right. Just to make it easy.
Some of the smaller balls are kind of hard to stab holes through.
Yep, they are. But you can do it. So I was just telling him, take the time to prep the holes.
Yes.
It's totally worth it. And yeah. So what do you guys think? Are you interested in making a gift of string of pearls, paper string of pearls for someone? I love this. I love these guys sitting on a bookshelf on top of books.
Mm-hmm.
They would also be really cute in the kids' room. They're great in a room that doesn't get a lot of sunlight because they're paper, of course.
I'm gonna do all small ones now. I think we're
Are you
just
going
about
small?
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a shorter one for this last one. Let's see. Let me get you some small ones with some good holes there.
And you said it takes about 2 bags to make a full plant, or
A bag of each size.
gotcha.
So-
not the whole
Yeah.
bag.
So it depends. So if it's 20 to 30 per strand, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strands here. So that would be 8 times 30, Matthew.
Siri,
Ah.
hey Siri, what's 8 times 30?
I'm sure there's somebody in our audience who knew that right when I said it because we're not math people.
We're artists.
Yes, that's no excuse though.
240.
240. Okay, so you could make this, because I said 30 and it's between 20 and 30, you could make this plant with a bag of each size.
Mhm.
So, thank you, Brittany.
It's from my head, so hopefully it's right.
Okay. There's another one for you. So how many are on that strand, just for
So
interest's
right
sake?
now there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 17 on here. So this would be a shorter strand.
Sure.
Because you do want some variety in your
do.
plant.
Okay.
Yeah, throw
Okay, you're gonna do the rest.
one more on there.
18 is a good number.
Or not, because there's one going. So
Okay.
we'll call it good.
There we go. All right, so then the next thing we are going to do
Okay,
is...
so we're gonna go ahead and take this contraption I've made. You really just need something that you can string your wire between. So this will make it so much faster to paint these balls. You can kind of spread the balls out on it.
I would definitely say spread the balls so that you can get in between.
Yes.
And also, it's best to paint them once they're on the wire. I would say don't paint them before you wire them. The holes will get
No.
clogged. It will just, this is just so
it'll
much easier.
it'll be so hard to. You'll have to sit there with tweezers holding each ball and paint them. But then you can go ahead and take your paints and your palette, and we just did a little bit of each color.
And we didn't even mix them. We mixed them as we painted.
Yeah, we just kind of dabbed our brush into each color.
That's one of my favorite techniques to do when I'm painting. I love having the blobs of other colors kind of mixed in.
You want me to do this? Okay. Yeah. You can show them the other ones. So if you feel like you need, sometimes the balls will spin around a little bit. You can kind of help hold them with your tweezers if you feel like you need to, because these are really easy to wash if you get too much paint on them. It's slightly random because you're just kind of painting. And also, feel really free to get paint onto the wire itself. You want to go ahead and show them some complete ones while I finish
Yeah,
this?
so here are some finished ones that we painted just before this and have let dry. And at the very end, I like to make a nice little spiral.
And how'd you do that?
And doing that, you can take a wire, a dowel, you can take the end of your, what are these called, pliers,
Your needle nose pliers,
and just
yeah.
kind of wrap it around.
Yeah, kind of like jewelry making in a way. Yeah. And one of the things I noted too is, when you're painting these round balls on a wire and they spin around, you might want to go back a second time and just make sure you get all the spots. You might miss a spot. So I think we missed a couple on those, but we can get them.
You're probably going to have to go back afterwards and just double check. And once you finish painting and these have dried completely, you're going to go ahead and take an 18 gauge wire and you're just going to bend it in half, making a little loop at the top and then twist the bottoms together. And go ahead and trim off the bottom inch or two because it doesn't need to be that long. And then we'll just take the top end of our wires and wrap them around. And this is just going to make it nice and sturdy to push down into our foam in the pot.
And it's kind of a little pin that you're creating.
Yeah. I'll just cut off the end of that.
So I did put some styrofoam inside of this little pot here. I felt like it's the easiest way to keep these super snug versus using something that might fall out, like the little plastic, what are those things called? Those little plastic pellets, the poly pellets. Mm-hmm. I feel like those just fall out too easy for this, and I don't want it. I want it to be solid. So, and this is a new pot for this plant. This one is actually made by my pottery teacher. I just loved the color, and I actually purchased that from him. Maybe someday I can make cute pots like that too.
Didn't you just make a whole batch of cute pots?
I did. We're working on it. That's my Sunday activity. I go to the pottery studio and make pots.
All right, so once you've added all of these on, you can just go ahead and place them in your pot, and we're just going to add these to this into the one we've already made and make it a little bit fuller. And you'll see in our original tutorial for this plant that we used a spray paint, which we don't really use. We don't use anymore.
No, we don't. We use a spray paint, and also you used a brown wire, like the natural color wire. So I actually went back and painted the wire again because things do move. We're not gluing these onto the wire. They do
they're
move
pretty.
freely.
Yeah, they move around a little bit, but they are pretty snug.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to go back and paint some of the wires to make them match.
Yeah. So here's my finished one, and you just let that dry. I would go back and make sure I probably have some spots on the other side that I can't see. Oh, I do. So there's my spots. So I'd probably flip it around and do it the other way, and then I could just add that in once it's done. So are there any questions about this plant?
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions, and let us know if you think you're going to make this. I know I want to make this and add it to my plant collection since I can't keep the real ones alive.
Yeah, we have quite the paper plant collection in our studio, and this is definitely one of our favorites. So
spray painting it would be easy, and also I think maybe hitting it with a nice coat of something that would give a little shine would look really good.
Yeah,
you could hit it with a varnish at the end,
or a Mod Podge or something like that.
Yeah, or you could do a Mod Podge. Yep.
I bet the Mod Podge would help hold them in place too.
it would.
Yeah, that is true. All right, well, we're done with this one. I just keep painting. I can't help it.
You keep seeing little spots.
like,
It is hard to get.
Oh, but it's fun. I mean, this is so cute, and it's very earthy and organic looking because it's uneven. So,
do you want to hold up the finished one? I want to see it off the table.
Yes, let's see it off the table. That's why I love to put it on books or on the side of a shelf because it drapes down over the side really, really nicely. Yeah. So, oh wait, I see one right here.
We're
that
gonna
one zigzag one in the front is funny too.
Okay, yeah, we'll take care of that.
This one right here. Don't look at it.
Where's the wire cutters? Yeah, if you're going to spiral them, you can just make sure. Okay, never mind. I just fixed it.
Yeah.
But so cute.
Stretch them a little.
What do you guys think?
Yay! Joanne says that it's going to be so fun to make.
They are.
I agree.
Yeah, they're really fun to make. Very easy. It's a very beginner friendly.
And I think also sorry, I have to do it. I think that this plant matches my shirt because it is full of joy. This is a very joyous plant.
Yes.
So if you haven't been with us in the 2 days prior, make sure that you download this. We have it available for you so you can also make your joy jumper and wear them. I'm going to wear this for the rest of the time I can wear a sweater and maybe make one for a hat. That was Brittany's idea. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, reset for the next plant, which
Yep.
is going to be...
The philodendron.
There we go. I wanted to say phalaenopsis. That's an orchid. For the philodendron. So we'll be right back and have that ready to go.
Yeah.
See you in a minute.